Welcome back, guys. So Lynn and I had a master plan when we came to work today, and 15 minutes after we got here, it suddenly changed. And this is what happens to Lynn at times. The guys give her ideas and then it just shifts, right? Anyway, we got them back on track. Today, though, I'm going to start a series of videos here on how to hire a crew, all of that type of thing. So today I'm going to talk about hiring a crew, where you should get your crew from, and a critical thing that you need to know when you're going to go hire your crew. So stay tuned for that.
Tight, right?
As soon as EMOC has been at it maybe half an hour,
Yeah.
then they can probably go at it.
Okay. So, Sir Michael, what's the
The master plan was, then it got deviated, now it's back on track. In translation, a lot of times Lynn will listen to the guys and then it starts shifting in the guy's direction. And right now, this is about extending their ability to work. No, the bulk. So what we've determined is that there's 7 full panels already pre-made. So we are going to start beside that tote up there and work our way this way. On the other side of the tote is a good opportunity for a gate, and then the last 2 pieces actually fit in. So this is working out well. So we will start with a master pole at the tote and work this way, and thou shalt not deviate anymore. People are talking about, oh, I can do this and I can do that. No, 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 no. The whole idea right now is about bulk, and we will deal with it on bulk. So right now we've got one of the guys going to make a 1, 2, 3 mix so that we can start getting that postie anchored beside the tote. And as soon as that is anchored and secured, then they can start working on the hollow block coming down this way. And even if the gap is a little bit off on the hollow block, who cares? A little bit more, 1, 2, 3, and that will fill in that location. I'm not worried about it. So yeah, Lynn and I got back on the same page here because, like I said, the master plan is bulk. Get the bulk done. And as soon as Datoy has made a 1, 2, 3 mix, then we will get a finisher down at the other end here, finishing the tops so that then the guys can put subsequent matting in, and then the finishing won't be quite as hard. This old carcass wants to talk to you about how to manage a self-build, even if you've got minimal experience. First, it starts with a lot of these types of vlogs. And don't shy away from those foreign language videos. When it comes to AAC, there wasn't much to work with, guys. Too much of it that was in English was merely promotional pieces. It wasn't going into detail like I was seeing in some of the Indian videos. Now, when I say detail, I don't know how many videos I watched. I watched a lot of the videos, and sometimes it was a mere 30 seconds of video to catch an idea that then I could talk to other people and trying to work through it. Case in point would be the lentils. That's where I saw them. I've tried to hunt back through the videos, guys, but I watched way too many of them. You just have to trust that that's what I saw so that you can start asking the questions that you need answered so that you can build this project out the way that you want. As mentioned yesterday, it's also about having side projects that, especially once you've got a roof. Once you've got a roof over your head, now these side projects need to kind of be saved if it's all possible, if the rain starts to hit you. So case in point was a couple of days ago we had rain start, and the posts that Joseph is working on now and some of this angle bar, the guys just shifted into doing the red oxide on it. Okay, now when the weather stops, you get them to stop and go back to what they were doing so that, again, they can finish that stuff at another time, right? If the weather gets ahead of you. Now, obviously, there's going to be stuff that you just need to do now, even if the weather's good. The other thing is spending some time on maybe a little bit about the local building code. You can pull these things up the Philippine Building Code, what you'll find is a lot of cut and paste from other countries, which is kind of nice because most of it's written in very, very clear English. I've only run into one situation where it was in German, because I noticed 1, 2, 3. That's about the limit of my German. So, that comes in handy for a good majority of us, right? That the English is already there. Then what you want to do, like we did with the AAC, and find out, is it approved in the building code? Well, we were told very early on, as I've mentioned numerous times, there is no code to what goes in between the pillars, okay? And so I got to keep driving that home because I still have people saying it's not approved. You know what? That is your architect, that is your crew manipulating you into doing it their way. If you've got the project, they either want to do it or get out of the way. And that's why we don't have an architect, right? We did find one architect that would work with AAC. We said, where's the crew going to come from? Oh, we'll train them on site. If you're an architect, you already have that crew. And I'm not spending time training your crew if I'm going to be doing the AAC. And then there's how you want to manage the guys. I have always been, whether it's here or Canada, always about team, team, team. It's why you hear me say we a lot. I never say I. Rarely do I ever say I. And often I will find, especially in Canada, tradesmen saying, what do you mean we? I'm saying, because you're either part of this team or you're not. Well, I'm only doing this. See you later. You're finished. And then they run off to HR and they lodge a complaint and all that sort of thing. I'm the one in charge. The word doesn't take long, and they understand that we can either be a team, have some good fun. Got to have fun at work, guys. And here the day is long, and the week is long. So you better be having fun. If it's not part of your building process, then you should be getting out of the way too, because you're going to be an unhappy camper. So as much as we've had our moments here, we've always eventually said to the crew, okay, you paid the price for my anger over what you did, but at the end of the day, are you ready to get back on track? And that's been the course here. So if you're wanting to do a self-build, this can be a lot of fun. You got to pay attention to how long it takes the crew to do certain things. We've seen how long it took to do this. Now we know how long it's going to take to do the finishing for the rest of the block. And so now I'm comfortable with how we organize today, which is, the crew is going to shift to where we've already got pre-made panels. We'll shift up to that location because we can't use it on the rest of this fence. It's going to be garbage otherwise, right? So you have to figure out how you can shift and manipulate and this type of thing. And then, of course, there's product management. You got to watch the guys, make sure they're not just cutting long pieces over and over and over again. And then you end up with all of these, let's say plumbing, you end up with all these little 4-foot pieces. And yet, many times when they started cutting, they only needed a 3-footer. So product management, tell them where you want the electrical to be laid out, where the plumbing gets laid out. If it's piping, all the piping goes in the same location. You know what I mean? Have all of your stuff very well organized, and then constantly get the guys cleaning. This crew is pretty good. We've got a little bit of a situation with some Sackos here, but that was a rain issue, and for the most part, the guys are good. Next is critical. Just showing you that blue sky because we had an isolated storm going through. I was talking with the crew and they were asking me what today's topic is about, and they reminded me about the most critical thing. And if you're going to hire an architect, this is going to happen to you because they hire from here, there, and everywhere. Festivals and fiestas. Oh, not only do they miss a day, say a Saturday or a Friday, they miss a whole week because these things are drawn out, and if they get plowed like some of our guys do, it might be longer than a week. It might be. So be careful of that. So if you got an architect, watch out for that, guys, because I've seen even in videos, where's the crew? Oh, fiesta time. Well, how are you going to meet your deadline? Just saying, watch out for that kind of things. But if you're doing a self-build, as we're talking about here, hire from your barangay. And if your Masoons or others are going to come from outside, make sure they're all from the same barangay and know when that festival and fiesta is. Why am I getting more rain here? There's no sign of it out there. Aizabiga. Some of our thinking on the master plan here, guys, revolves around a crew that's a little more of a distance to us than the local crew here. So we already pre-made 7 of these panels. And so that's what we're doing now, is we're going through and putting these 7 panels in. We're going to deal with the hollow block second. I know. A little change of plans. We had an opportunity to possibly put a gate in there, though we will not do a gate at this time, just provision it for the future. I do like how the mats are going in on the original plan, though I'm not totally adverse to doing what we're doing now, which is, you know, lay the top bar, the bottom bar, and then weld in the mat and put the end pieces in. So I'm not adverse to it, but now we're missing some continuity in the fence. But, you know, as some of you have mentioned, mangosteen and some of these other climbing plants, that's what our goal is anyway here. So just behind that hollow block is another hole. And so now that fence is going to cover that section of the house that people can see through. So that's going to be nice. That will be nice. I am pleased about that we have had a home run in one area here. And, well, we won't have time this year. But the idea is to continue that down to the front of the house. Let's give you a final update here. So we ended up with an extra panel. All of us couldn't count, but all of us counted that other hole as being a panel. Anyway, now the guys are understanding what I was talking about. The land is falling a lot quicker than what they realized. And so we have to continue that. Now, when I counted up the number of mats that we've got, we may be able to get to the front of the house. And if we can, and if time permits, we will continue it down there. It's not a big deal. It's just that we own it, so we might as well use it. The guys are already back up at the front here doing the welding there. And EMOC has been hard at it with the finishing. So that is working out nicely. Tomorrow we get this blue sky again. Then for sure in the morning, heavily focused because of the coolness and the shadowing. We get a lot of shadowing off these coconut trees. We will get all of the crew. They're going to get confused, guys, because they're not continuing the way they started the previous day, right? So again, it's just about managing people. That's all it is. And you have to understand that even they're not tradespeople, right, guys? They're Masoons. They're local, trained from father to son and so on. That's how the training happens here. Okay, so understand what you're working with. As I get away from the crew here, this will be the last week for our major Masoons. I will only be using local people, so that means Eddie, the fellow that's straight ahead in the yellow shorts, and Emok, who's been doing the finishing layer here. And we are going to call it quits at that point. They can spend the next couple of weeks just puttering around and getting all this hollow block done, and Lynn's mom can manage that. That is easy peasy. And that's got to be the goal now, guys. We are all but done. All but done. Later, Gators.